tech gives me a go, and so we're going to start. Thank you again for your patience. I know we have started late today. I want to introduce Ivy. Ivy is a tax officer with KRA, and she specializes in taxes in the digital economy, which is why she's our expert today. Ivy, please come join me on stage. Let's clap for Ivy. Yay. Okay, hi Ivy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to start my conversation with you how I always start conversations. Please introduce yourself to us as if you're someone we've never met. If you are meeting someone, how would you introduce yourself? So let us know a bit about who you are.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Ivy Watti, a tax officer from Kenya Revenue Authority, from the Digital Economy Tax Office. Yes, that's Ivy Watti.
That's Ivy. You don't tell us like your favorite color or anything like that.
Quite professional.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll go right into the conversation. What types of taxes, especially now with like digital tax coming up, what types of taxes should we be aware of as podcasters and content creators in Kenya?
So the type of taxes that apply to content creators, we have the income tax. We have VAT can be applicable to content creators. So under the income tax, we have income tax withholding. I'm sure most of us have heard of the digital content monetization that is anchored in section 10(4) of the Income Tax Act. So other than the withholding part, we have the normal individual tax return. That's mostly for sole proprietorship. And for content creators who own companies, that is the corporate, we have the corporation tax.
Okay, so between income tax and VAT, how do you determine which one you fall under? Do you fall under both? What are the considerations a content creator should have?
So for income tax, that is like a default obligation for anyone, for any resident taxpayer. And for VAT, if you are supplying taxable services that have surpassed the threshold of 5 million, you can, if you are supplying services that are less the threshold, you can also elect to register for VAT. Yes, basically that is it. So we have the income tax, which is the individual returns that are filed annually, that is by the 30th June. Yeah.
And what's the difference between income tax and income tax withholding?
So income tax withholding is majorly for the platform owners. The platform owners are required to withhold a certain percentage of the taxes when they are making payments to content creators.
Okay, we'll come back to that a bit later. Does it matter if the content creator is earning money locally or internationally when it comes to taxes?
It doesn't matter as long as you are a resident and the income has been accrued or it is derived in Kenya. So whether you are earning the income locally or internationally, income tax needs to be charged on the income.
And how do you do it for content creators? Because it's not like you're getting a salary, or because some months are better than others, some months they're not getting money. So how do you determine what income would be? What goes into considerations for income from KRA?
So from the Income Tax Act, any income or any gain, any business profit that one gets is subject to tax. So whether there are months that you have not earned anything, the other months that you have earned, all that income is subject to taxation. And for individuals, we are all aware of the graduated scale.
What is the graduated scale?
Sorry to an oversight. So the graduated scale is the 10, 25, 32.5, yes. And the corporate one is the 30%.
10, 25, 32 on percentage?
Yes, we have like the first 288,000 subject to a certain rate.
Okay. Where can the content creators find the information on like
All
all
this
of that?
information is available on the KRA website. We also have this information available on the Kenya law, where the laws of Kenya are anchored in. Yes, so you can get the information from KRA website or Kenya law.
Okay. As content creators, we have different versions of monetization that happen, right? So, an income. How is there a specific way KRA categorizes different sources of income? So, sponsorships versus ads versus like platform. Is there a difference in how you categorize them? Is there a difference in how taxes are approached in that sense?
No, there is no difference. Income is just income, whether it's from subscription, whether it's from sponsorship, income is income.
Okay, and the income that gets the withholding is only the one from platforms though?
From platforms, yes. It is anchored in section 10.4 of the Income Tax Act. So where you are creating content maybe for a non-resident, let's say Meta or any non-resident taxpayer, when the taxpayer is making a payment, they are supposed to withhold 5%. So this 5% acts as a credit or an advance tax. So when you are filing your annual income, you'll offset the credits that have been withheld.
Okay. At what stage should the podcaster or content creator register for KRA? Is there a minimum, like how for normal income tax, there's a minimum under which you don't pay taxes and things like that? Are there considerations like that for content creators?
Registration, you are supposed to register within 30 days from the day that you are liable to pay taxes, within 30 days. And there are penalties and offenses to people who don't register for the KRA PIN.
And what is the minimum consideration? So how do I know when I've reached the place that in 30 days, if I don't register,
so
I will have a problem?
Okay, sorry. As a content creator, maybe you've reached out to any non-resident or any resident and you are expecting income. So you'll be aware, like from the contracts you've signed, you'll be aware maybe by, let me say, 30th of October, you'll be having a payment that has been made to you. So you are required to register and acquire a KRA PIN. But nowadays, getting a KRA PIN, even, what is it called? Registering or opening a bank account, you need a KRA PIN. So it's something that people have. It's not like you'll have to wait for you to get income or get employed for you to get a KRA PIN.
What's the minimum for content creators when it comes to taxes? Like how, is it 24,000? Is it 30,000 before you start paying taxes? Is there such a cap at all for them to consider? Or is it if I get 100 shillings tomorrow, there needs to be a consideration for tax?
So this basically depends on, how do I put it? It basically depends on the type of business that you are doing. Are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a limited company? Yes. So basically, as you are aware, withholding is at, the threshold is 24,000. So if you're earning anything less than 24,000, then there will be no withholding on it.
Okay. And when you talk about like a limited company, a sole proprietorship, is there a consideration or advice you would give from KRA's perspective for content creators and podcasters to put into consideration when it comes to taxes? Is it easier for me to do it as an individual? Should I register my company or content creation under sole proprietorship or limited company, is there certain things you think as KRA would make content creators should take into consideration?
What should be put in consideration is the transactions, the volume of transactions. So there is basically there is no need of having a limited company where you have minimal transactions. You can transact or you can do business using your own personal APIN.
Okay, so the higher the transactions, then you would ask the content creator to consider registering it as a business.
Yes, again, to minimize on the tax administration burden.
Okay, you mentioned penalties before.
Mm-hmm.
What are the penalties that would come into play for content creators and podcasters when it comes to taxation?
The penalties, this information is available in the Tax Procedures Act. So like registration, failure to register, you incur a penalty of 100,000 per month, every month until when you'll register, up to 1 million. So another penalty in terms, there are different penalties. There is a penalty you will incur when you fail to register. There is a penalty you will incur when you fail to submit a tax return. There is a penalty you will incur for late payment. There is a penalty you will incur for failing to keep tax records. So you need to keep your tax records. There are penalties you will incur when you fail to avail yourself or to appear before the commissioner. Yes. So there are different categories of the non-compliance or the penalties that might affect content creators.
Okay, when you talk about tax records, what are the things that need to be taken into consideration, or what are determined as tax records?
So for content creators, when we talk about tax records, we are basically talking about the contracts, the eTIMS invoices. We are all aware of eTIMS. The eTIMS, the contracts, the bank statements. Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to eTIMS, how do we as content creators, so as content creators, they have certain things. So say I bought a camera from Amazon, and the invoice is not necessarily going to be able to go on eTIMS, but I want to be able to make it a tax deductible because that would be a cost ideally as a creator. How would that go about for the things that are not eTIMS, that we cannot update on eTIMS? Things like, say, I buy credit to call my guests, and that is considered a cost under my content creation, but I can't eTIMS like for my credit. So how does that work for that?
So one thing, you've mentioned you are purchasing a camera from Amazon.
Yeah,
that
say it's Amazon. I'm just saying, for example, a platform that doesn't have...
that is basically a non-resident. So all our non-resident taxpayers are exempted from the provisions of eTIMS. So if you are acquiring something from them, but you can share your PIN with them, where they will include it in their invoice. So you can use that to claim your expenses. And expenses have to be wholly or fully. You see, like content creators, maybe in my house, I purchase a camera, I'm paying rent. Will I really claim the rent as part of expenses in doing my business?
I was going to ask you that actually, because I mean, it's ideally my office, so why not?
Is it a personal expense or is it a business expense?
It can be both. So what happens when it's both? Because you see, if you're working from home, and content creators don't have hours necessarily, so it could be midnight and I'm recording a video. Ideally, that means it's like a workspace. So does that not become a deductible? Or is a percentage of it a deductible?
As it is from Section 16 of the ITA, personal expenses like rent are not allowable deductions. But as you can see, technology, it's fluid. So from the traditional businesses, it was not possible to claim rent as a personal, like your house rent, as an expense. But as it is, it's not in the law.
Okay, so if I hired out a space, say a studio and things like that, would that be able to be put out as a cost for my content creation?
Yes, yes.
And
That will be an allowable deduction.
So you're saying any invoice just needs to have the KRA pin to work as a deductible?
Not really. Not that any invoice that has a KRA pin is an allowable deduction. From the, everything that KRA does, it has a legal backup. So that's why I'm saying section 16 of the ITA. So when a content creator is filing for their taxes, it's advisable to go back and look at the list of what is allowable. So, but it has to have been fully used in gaining the income.
Okay, so if it works into gaining the income, then it can work. But then for international platforms like Amazon and things like that is when you ask them to add the KRA pin and then it works?
Yes.
It would work like an eTeams invoice?
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to monetization, right? What considerations should podcasters put in place when they're doing things like discussing and negotiating with like partners, ad companies, things like that, that would determine, say, for example, withholding, what is a service versus what is not, and things like that for paying their taxes?
When you are going into contract with your clients, you have to put in mind your markup and also include the taxes. Yes, that's what I can say. And just know the markup and add the taxes. Then you can bargain your way out with your customer or client.
And how do you determine what a service is when you're doing content creation? Like what would be determined as a service for VAT?
This is from whose perspective?
So as a content creator, as a
content
content creator, because you said there's income tax and there's VAT, right? But VAT only sits on services.
VAT doesn't only sit on services, it sits on also tax on goods. But now because we are talking about content creators, it is a service, yes. But again, remember, VAT has a threshold. So I could be a content creator, but I haven't met the threshold. So my only tax will be the annual income tax and the withholding tax that the platform owner has deducted.
And when I start doing things like, so the reason I'm asking this is because when it comes to things like monetization, a lot of people go into like merchandising, for example. In that sense, I'm selling a good. Does that fall under income, or would I have to register it as a different thing? Because if it's below the 5 million threshold you mentioned, where does that fall under?
So if I'm a content creator, just to get you right, if I'm a content creator and I'm selling a taxable good, right? So
say t-shirts and sweatshirts, because mugs, there's a lot of people who start doing that as a source of income. Yeah.
So VAT is a consumer tax. So it's not on you, it's passed on the consumer. So it's not really your tax, it's the consumer's tax. You'll just have to charge the person and remit it to KRA. But it's not like, let me say, your burden. It's the consumer's
And
burden.
Is there a difference in how registration would happen in that place? Because then I'm not a service provider anymore necessarily. I'm doing goods as well.
You will add VAT obligation to your PIN.
Okay. So the PIN is what I would need to have that.
Yeah. When you are registering for KRA, you have a default obligation, that is the income tax. Then you can add VAT. If you are supplying accessible services or goods, you'll add excess duty. If you are an agent, you can add withholding VAT. If you are an agent, you can add the income tax. Yeah.
Okay, what happens in situations? So for podcasting, for example, we have networks. So it's one person representing a lot of podcasters. Would that person then need to register as a company as a representative of the podcasters, or would you expect individual podcasts that fall under the network to then do their VAT, do their taxes directly?
Or what do you mean when you say one person representing?
So a network, for
many?
example, is I work, I have say 10 podcasts that I represent, right? So it's maybe I'm a studio or something like that, and I have 10 podcasts under me. And so when it comes to even like advertising, negotiating, and things like that, I'm the one representing the 10 people, right? So in that case, would the taxes be something that I have to consider? Would you consider me as the person negotiating as the company that stands on behalf of the 10 podcasters, the person who would pay the taxes? Or would it need to be the individual podcasts that would then need to remit based on what it is we decide the split is amongst them?
So what I'm trying to understand, there is one person at the forefront.
Say a company. So I'm a studio. Let's
Mhm.
assume I'm a studio. And in my studio, I have 10 podcasters who come to register, but I'm the one who uploads their content. I'm the one who does their social media as the studio. So we do all of that for them. And when it comes to negotiating deals, we're the ones who do the negotiations.
You are the
for
one
them
who negotiates
on behalf of the
behalf
10.
of them.
So now depending on the split.
You
So say
pay,
one person, we pay
You
individual.
pay now the individual.
Yes.
So while paying the individuals, you represent the platform owner. So you'll have to withhold at 5% as you pay the other 10, or let's say 20 or something.
Okay, so the network would then become like the platform.
Yes.
Okay. What frameworks does KRA have for digital service providers, and how do they impact social media? So for the platforms, say locally, what are the frameworks that you have for digital services?
So as it is currently, digital services are applicable to non-residents. So the legal framework in place for these non-residents, they have their own taxes that they are paying. That is the significant economic presence tax, where they pay 3% of the gross turnover. They are paying VAT on electronic, internet, and digital marketplace supplies. We have currently incorporated excise duty on on anything that is accessible, any accessible service that is provided over a platform. There is also excise duty on cryptocurrency or the digital assets. So these are taxes that are being paid by the non-residents. So that is they have their own share. So like, tusione ni kama ni sisi peke yetu tunalipa. Even the non-residents, they have their own taxes that they are paying.
You just mentioned cryptocurrency. Is cryptocurrency taxable in Kenya?
Yes, it is.
So even as a content creator, if I was earning in crypto, there's a way that I can find out what the taxation would be.
Actually, you should be paying taxes if you are trading. If you are not trading, trading. Nisiseme trading ikai forex. You are trading. You are doing cryptocurrency, anything digital asset. Initially, it was a 3% gross, whether you are making a loss or a profit, as long as you have transacted anything crypto. But through the Finance Act, so it's the Finance Act and the tax law amendment, it's currently an excisable service. So you pay 10%, 10% fees when you are trading. Yeah.
Okay, and how does cross-border taxation work? So I'm in Kenya, majority of my audience is in, say, Ghana or South Africa, right? And so because of that, I'm earning money more from the people who are in those countries. How does taxation work in that sense?
So as long as you are a resident of Kenya, by resident I mean you have a permanent establishment, or maybe as content creators you have traveled and you have been outside Kenya, you have to be within Kenya for an average of 183 days. So as long as you are a resident, we assume that the income has been accrued in Kenya. So whether your audience is in Ghana, whether your audience is in, let me say, South Africa or wherever, the value has been created in Kenya, so the income is deemed to have accrued in Kenya. So you'll again pay your normal annual returns.
Okay. And what things should we put, like what records should we have for consideration in taxation? We'd mentioned e-teams invoices. Are there any other things that should be put in place or are put as considerations when it comes to taxation for content creators?
Your contracts. You have to know how much you have been paid, maybe over a certain reporting period. You have to have your expenses that you can deduct. Yeah, basically that is it. You keep your contract, you keep your expenses. Yeah.
Okay. As content creators, a lot of times when we're working with brands, companies, and things like that, the payment doesn't come for 90 days, 60 days, whatever it is that's in the contract. When is the tax consideration done? Is it based on the date? So say we signed in June. Is it based on June, or is it based on the 90-day period in September, whenever, when I'll actually get the payment?
So as I initially said, a content creator has a default obligation of the income tax, which is filed annually by 30th June. So probably by the time you have, like, let's say now we are in 2025, and maybe I've done business. So by the time it gets to 30th June of 2026, you'll be fine to file your taxes.
Because they'll only be considered to December of the year before.
Yes.
And what if the payment was coming, say, in January? Would that fall in the next year? So say I signed something in November and payment is coming in February. So on contract, it's a 2025 earning, but then on payment, it's coming in 2026. Yeah. So where does that fall?
The next.
It would fall in the next year.
Yes.
Okay. Are there specific tools, apps, things that you can suggest that would help with tracking income and expenses when it comes to KRA? Do you have anything in your platform that would be able to help?
There are various softwares that are available to help us track our expenses. Some are free, some are you can pay for them. So we do not have a tool or a software that we can recommend as an authority.
And when it comes to the platform, for example, is there somewhere you have somewhere I can calculate how much I would need to do something? So if it's like withholding, is there somewhere I can go on the platform that's like, if you got this amount of money, this is the percentage that will go out, or if you earned 30,000, this is what taxes would look like, or things like that?
Once your income has been withheld, there is a certificate that is sent to your registered email address. So it's easy to track what has been withheld, because basically it's 5% if it is a resident and 20% if it is a non-resident.
Okay. You mentioned for the year, the income for the year is what would be determined in taxes. And I know for people who are employees, they normally do it monthly, right? So
That is pay.
Yeah, so pay or income tax. So my question becomes, does this mean I can, as a content creator, just figure out all of my income for the year, and then now at the end of the year be like, this is how much the deductible would be, and pay the taxes that way? Or does it have to be per payment?
So if I'm a content creator and I've been employed.
So I'm not employed. So if I'm a content creator earning money, right? Because we had mentioned earlier, you don't always get money every month, for example. Is the tax implication, so when penalties and all of those things are being considered, is the implication on monthly payment? So if I got money, let's say in March, and I didn't pay taxes in March, but then by the end of the year, the taxes from that income would have been given, is that okay? Is the consideration for the whole year, or is it per payment?
So if I'm a content creator, I have been paid in March. My income has been already withheld at source. So there are no taxes that I'm paying until I file my annual return. So the person who withheld your income is the one that is supposed to remit the taxes within 5 days from the day that they withheld. So mimi kama content creator, as long as 5% imeshakatwa, I'll wait till the due date for filing my annual return. I have nothing to file, maybe monthly or something.
That's for withholding. And for income tax?
I don't know if we are on the same page.
So anytime, so as long as I'm earning, because you'd mentioned the withholding is from platforms, right?
You see, withholding is not an obligation that will be on my PIN as a content creator. My PIN, let me say Ivy as a podcaster or a content creator, my PIN will only have income tax, the resident individual as an obligation. So with this obligation, I'm only required to file my taxes annually by 30th June. So if my income has been withheld during that 1 year, I'll file the credits.
As long as the credits are filed within the year, you're fine?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What upcoming changes should we be expecting from KRA when it comes to digital taxation?
So upcoming changes. Are
there any things that you have or are talking about or are considering as KRA that content creators should be aware of? Maybe it's something that's just passed. Maybe it's like digital tax. Is there anything that content creators need to be aware of when it comes to taxation?
So upcoming changes are things that come from us, the taxpayers. So maybe like right now we have the digital content monetization at 5%. And as an authority, we are not like an enemy venye we had initially said. So we'll listen to the ground and see how are people taking this 5%. Because you remember initially the content monetization was at 15%. And there were noises, and through the Finance Act, it had to be reduced to 5%. So anything changes comes from the people that taxes have been imposed on, and maybe the loopholes that might have come with any tax that was passed into law. So from that, it's when now the policy makers come back and look at it. Maybe they say like this digital asset, if we could add or if we could reduce. So those are some of the changes. The changes come from the people.
Okay, so if the people want to make noise, as you call it, are there specific channels that they can use to reach out to KRA so that KRA knows, okay, this is what the ground is saying?
Yes. There are channels. When the finance bill is out, that is an opportunity for people to, like the stakeholder, the public participation. When a regulation is being passed, there is always a period for public participation. That's when us taxpayers can say how we feel about one or two.
Okay, and outside those periods, so like now, for example, when something has passed where it's 15% to 5%, and you want to have a conversation with KRA, where are the spaces that you can go to have such conversations?
There are email addresses that you can write to KRA. You can walk into the KRA offices. Yes.
Okay. Are there specific people, if we walked into a KRA office, that we should ask for? Is there like a tax officer? Is there specific someone that you would ask for?
Well, once you walk into any KRA office, definitely you'll find someone that will listen to you.
Okay. How is KRA adapting to the changes in digital in digital content creation?
How is KRA adapting to
How is
come
KRA
again?
adapting to the fast growth of digital content creation? So, you know, like how now there was the issue, for example, recently with Twitch, where
Yeah,
now
we are aware of the Twitch.
yes,
Yeah.
and a lot of platforms are having this issue now. So, with the changes, what are the things that KRA is considering or putting into place to ensure that the content creators are not at a disadvantage, so that they're not necessarily losing money, but then I guess it's the channels of conversation that you're talking about. And in doing that, like when it comes to monetization, what are the considerations you're taking? So it's not just, let's say, a platform. There are things like Patreon where I'm getting money from my audience instead of from a platform. So in that case, what would like taxation look like? Are those conversations that are being had at KRA?
Yeah, there are conversations that are being had. As I've said, we are aware of the Twitch, of the suspension and everything, and some companies stating high taxation and seizing business in Kenya. So there are things that we hear and we are putting in consideration as we draft more tax laws or more tax laws.
Okay, what advice would you give to content creators and podcasters to stay prepared when it comes to regulations? Are there certain places they should check regularly? Are there certain like platforms or things like that that you guys create where they can do like conversations and things like that?
The KRA website, these are things that are published. Some are put on the Gazette notice. Some KRA creates awareness, like sasa kama sahi I'm here. We create awareness through public participation. So if anything comes up, we make sure we inform the taxpayers.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience on taxation when it comes to content creation? Is that a no? You have a question?
Sorry, I just wrote it down in my notepad. Sorry, how is how is career balancing enforcement with education to ensure creators understand their obligations without feeling intimidated?
How is KRA?
Balancing enforcement with education to ensure creators understand their obligations without feeling intimidated.
We have sensitizations that are being held. We have reading materials from KRA website. We have the Finance Act, zenye zinatolewa. So these are things that as a taxpayer we need to be aware of, so that it's not like I'm a content creator, I'm doing a digital hustle. So you're like, is it really fair for KRA to come and tax my hustle? But this is something that has already been passed and it's in the law. So I don't know if I've fully answered your question.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Also, I don't know if this was talked about. Does KRA have specific tax guidelines tailored for digital creators and podcasters, or they are grouped under general business income? Sorry.
They are grouped under the general income. As in, it's in as much as it's a digital hustle or something, it's still income. And income, we have the kawaida, the individual, the corporate, yeah. So there hakuna like ati taxes, hizi ziko kando za content creators. It's just the same. So it's just working around with the traditional ones, ama zile za kitambo.
So, thanks.
Good evening. So I have a question. How do you differentiate between VAT and income tax, especially in light of the fact that, now let's use this example. For example, I'm a podcaster and I am not maybe selling any kind of merchandise or any good. So I don't have any good that I can say that I'm going to add value in it. So as a podcaster who solely relies on services, how then do I have VAT in whatever I am doing? Because as I understand it, if I'm going to get money, for example, from sponsorships or partnerships, I think that is going to be categorized as income tax, as you have said.
Yeah.
So then where does the VAT comes in, especially in such a situation?
So VAT is not like, as a content creator, CRT, I have to have the VAT obligation. VAT obligation is only when you are supplying a vatable service or good. So if you are supplying a vatable service, then you can charge VAT on it. If you are only, or your work is purely a content creation or service without anything VAT, then you only have to account for the income tax. Hakuna VAT hapo.
Just a follow-up on that. As I understand it, again, VAT is value added tax.
Yes.
So then how do I get to add value on a service?
I don't know if, how do I put it? So let's say I'm a podcaster, maybe I come up with, I'm selling mugs or something, something that attracts VAT. That's when you'll have to register for VAT. Or if your annual threshold is above 5 million, then you'll be required to register for VAT. Imekataa kuingia.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I had a few questions. I do my taxes, and it's usually very stressful around the June aspect. My thing is I do my taxes, right, and the withholding tax for all the work that I did, KRA usually takes 5%, right? How do you normally recover that, like in terms, because I know there's aspects of delay because KRA withdraws across any service that I offer. And then second of all is that I know we're talking about content creators, but I've been in the software space where software is considered a service in KRA, right? And you've also included VAT in terms of the products that we like and using. So let's say I'm providing such a service like a software. Do I include 16% when I'm charging my clients, or how does it work out? Because let's say you're selling to companies and whatnot, right? Is that considered a service, and should I be including that in my pricing? That kind of situation. So yeah, those are my two questions.
Your first question was
withholding, right? So you 5% every time I get a check, I have to give
5% has been deducted.
Yeah. Is this meant to be recoverable, or what happens in that? Because I still at the end of the year have to account for my income tax, have to pay all those kind of situations, right? So I'm kind of wondering, is it redeemable?
Yes, it is. It is.
And how long does it
when
take
you're
to
filing your annual return, the credits, the 5% that has already been withheld, it's let me, what do I say? It's recoverable. Hapo kwa income tax when you're filing your annual. So like you'll have the business turnover, let's say 50 million. You'll have your allowable deductions. Then you'll less the credits from the withholding. Then that income, if you are an individual, will be subjected to the graduated scale when taxing. If it is a corporate, then that taxable is at 30%. So all the withholding
Wait,
credits.
what is the 30%?
Pardon?
If it's my
If it's a corporate, if
Yeah.
it's a company, if it's a limited company, or yeah,
All right.
it's at the corporate tax is at 30%.
Okay.
But
fine.
hizo credits zinakuanga hapo.
So I can
even
just include
if-
it in my filings,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and actually they are, what should I say? They are automated. You can't like, where's it change? If it's 150,000, you can't put 175. When you're uploading it on iTax, it won't submit. It will give you the figure, include a credit of 150,000 or something.
Okay.
Yes. So si ati inapoteanga hiyo 5%.
All right.
Yes.
Just question.
And on the software,
So you're saying in terms of like content creation, that's not considered like a service situation, but I see VAT being applied in some of the software products that we do and sell, even international software products. Carrier has gotten applying VAT into that, right? So I'm saying, if let's say I'm a local provider of some of these tools and I'm selling to anyone, do I include, what's the parameters of that? Is it a 16% VAT as
So,
normal?
when we talk about software, as a supplier of the software, are you exploiting the right to use the software, or are you just using the software or selling it to your client as it is?
I'm the creator of the software and I'm selling it to a client.
So you own the copyright to the software?
Yes, I own the copyright.
So if you're owning the copyright, then it's business and you have to charge VAT. If you are exploiting the right, then it falls under withholding as royalty.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And the VAT is 16%.
16%, yes.
Oh.
So any software development, any software, whatever, a 16% has to
Okay.
be charged, yes.
And my last one is that I noticed that I have a tax person in Kare for my region, right? It's like there's a person.
A tax account
assigned.
manager.
Yeah, it's called an account manager. So how does that go? Because I get their emails and I'm confused if they're after my stuff. So I'm just maybe explain.
What kind of
relationship.
emails are you receiving?
No, I mean like normally before
Is it
tax,
like a reminder to
a
pay
reminder of
or,
sorts and everything yeah.
or
reminder.
agency notices or what?
Yeah. So I'm just kind of wondering the relationship between me and them, because I'm just curious what my account is. Do they help me when I'm in a fix? Are they the people I should be talking to?
Yes,
That kind
actually.
of situation? Yeah.
Yes. All taxpayers are mapped to account managers. So the account managers check your compliance status, communicate to you, facilitate you, monitor your filing and compliance. So they are the people to talk to. If
When I have issues,
yeah,
right?
when you have, or you can walk into any KRA office
Okay.
and you'll be helped.
Sounds good.
How to find your account manager? You can walk into your tax station and you will be shown your account manager.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I'm Alan. So I wanted to ask, in regards to when you are sending an invoice to an NGO that is tax exempt, how does it work? Because already you are sending the invoice. What happens in that regard? But on their side, they are saying they are exempt from taxes.
So when you are sending an invoice to someone that is exempted from income tax or any
So
obligation.
like it's a company, I'm obligated to, I'm offering, let's say, a production service, which is a VAT obligation, but then on their end, they are exempted
From
as an
VAT.
organization.
So your client is VAT exempted.
Yeah.
So when your client is VAT exempted, as you issue out the invoice, you will not charge them VAT.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I'm generating the invoice, it just
On eTeams,
On
there is an
eTeams.
option for
0.
to those that are exempted.
Okay. So the other question I had was, let's say you are, let's say you have penalties, and for instance, let's say for the period you have a penalty of like 100,000, and you are just starting out and you don't have the 100,000. Do we have option for lipa mdogo mdogo?
Yes, you can walk into your tax station, find your account manager, and you can come up with a payment plan, a very flexible payment plan. But when you come up with a payment plan, you have to fulfill, because once you skip any installment, then the taxes are recoverable immediately. Yeah, so unaweza kuja, you sit down, useme niko na hii, then come up with a payment plan. Hivyo.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Claire. So I'd like you to speak more on installment tax for individual taxpayers.
So installment tax is on individuals who can foresee a tax payable of approximately 40,000. So you come up with an installment tax, which is payable on the 4th, 6th, 9th, and 12th a month. That is April, June, September, and December. So installment tax, there are two bases of coming up with the tax payable. You can use the current year, or you can use the prior year basis.
Okay. So on that, can you like mix both methods?
No,
Maybe
you use one method. You can't use both current and whatever and prior.
okay, because I'm imagining a situation where maybe the year started out very well, and then maybe in the middle it is not doing very well as compared to how you started. So how do you go about that? And is the installment tax supposed to be the same figure for every installment?
Yes, it's supposed to be the same figure for the 4 installments.
So what do
So
you do?
where maybe there is a balance of tax, it's to be paid again, carried forward to the next fourth month.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Hi. How
Hi.
do you get refunds from KRA?
Umelipa ushuru nyingi.
The example you've mentioned, from her example, you could find a situation where at the end of the year you've paid in excess because of the difference in months, as she said, or such situations now, and then they adjust it for the following year. So how do you get them to settle that difference on your side?
So if you have a refund, you just lodge a claim from iTax. Then you'll provide supporting documents and everything. Then within a specific period, you can get your refund.
Asking from experience, do people actually get refunds?
Yes, refund ziko.
Okay.
Yeah, provided you support that. You can just file. You can just file and claim any input that you think it's okay. So these supporting documents are the things that help the account manager to approve whatever refund you are entitled to.
No more questions? We're okay? It's today they're a friend. Ask the questions. No? Okay. Ivy, let us know where we can find you, KRA, any questions we have and all of that. Social media, whether it's emails that you think we can reach out to, maybe the websites or whatever it is, let us know where we can find what we need.
So any question concerning digital economy taxation, you can find us at JQuat Towers, 8th floor, Kenyatta Avenue. You can send us an email at digitaleconomy@kra.go.ke. Anything digital, you can reach out. You can walk into our offices, by the way.
Okay, so we will be visiting the offices. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. Thank you everyone for making the time to be here as well. Special thank you to Baraza for hosting us, Semabox for giving us tech support, you're amazing. Jesse and Maine for doing all of the pictures and social media, thank you as well. Like I mentioned earlier, Jesse might be coming to some of you to ask questions, so please answer the questions that he has for you. And thank you for being here. We are AfriPods. AfriPods is a podcast hosting and distribution platform. It is free, so if you're a podcaster and you're looking for a hosting platform, please check out afripods.africa. If you have questions, you can write to us, contact us at afripods.com, and we will be happy to answer any questions you have. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.